So I just hosted this 2-day event for my students, a virtual summit. It was really amazing. And I spoke, a lot of my millionaires spoke, we're giving tips. And for me, a lot of what I can offer you is perspective and knowledge, but also experience. I've been trading now for a quarter of a century. So in this video, I go over different years and different lessons, because every year there's different kinds of lessons. It's not just about how much money you can make all at once. It's how can you learn from history? How can you learn from different markets? How can you really capitalize on different markets and build remember, you have two accounts, your knowledge account and your brokerage account over time. So I'm proud to help grow your knowledge account. Once you get enough knowledge, it overflows into your brokerage account, but it takes time. So watch this video, start to understand what I'm trying to show you. Leave a comment below if I'm successful in teaching you my thought process, especially 2020 versus 2024. I see a lot of parallels. And just keep going. Remember, I have 40 plus millionaire students. None of them achieved it overnight. They're all learning from different markets. They're learning what works best for them. We all have different strengths and weaknesses, different personalities. So for me, I'm just trying to share as much as I can in this industry full of fakes and frauds. I'm trying to be real with you at all times. Leave a comment below. Let me know if I succeed, and get ready to take notes, because history matters. We're in an exciting time right now. You can learn about the stock market any time of your life. But what makes 2024 different? Well, frankly, the markets are on fire. We're hitting new all-time highs almost every other day. Can we pull up my screen too? Can we do, we gotta switch. I wanna show some charts too. I'll talk about myself, I'll talk about the millionaire students, but it's really amazing to be able to see this stuff every single day right now. Because every single day, there are 5, 10, 15 solid plays up and down, and it's that volatility that's amazing. That's what we're doing here, okay? You can learn to invest for the long term. You can invest and try to make 8 to 10% per year. That's what long-term investors make. That's a good amount of money if you have $1 million, if you have $5 million, if you have $10 million. You can make a few $100,000, maybe a few million a year in passive income just from investing. That's not what this is. If you have a small amount, okay? Raise your hand. I see everyone here on Zoom. I'm going to take a little video. Raise your hand if you have less than $50,000 to your name. Do you have less than $50,000? And raise it proudly. Don't be embarrassed. It's fine. We all start somewhere. My average student starts with like a few $1,000s. But I just want you to understand that 8 to 10% per year, even if you have $50,000, what is that? Best case scenario, you're going to make $4,000, $5,000. I don't know if you've seen prices lately. It's not enough. The good news is you don't just have to invest passively. You have tools. You have opportunity. I truly believe this is the most incredible time in human history, not just because the markets are hitting highs, not just because we can make our money, but we can do anything. I'm talking to thousands of you around the world using a technology that didn't exist a few years ago, or it was in the hands of like CIA operatives only. Now it's free for everybody, okay? So this is an amazing time, not just to earn, but to learn. And I really want you to get obsessed with your learning. You'll hear from a bunch of speakers over the next 2 days. You'll hear from a lot of successful people. None of them did this just for the money. Obviously, money is a nice reward. We want financial freedom. We want independence. You should, especially as things in this world get more and more expensive. But if you get obsessed with your education and you keep learning in hot markets, in cold markets, so that you're better prepared no matter what happens. We're coming to you right now as the markets are hitting new highs. We just had a record 8-day win streak that hasn't been done in years. It's crazy what the markets are doing. But frankly, it's sad and it's frustrating if you don't know what you're doing. Because just because the markets are going up, just because there's a lot of stocks in play, are you really prepared to capitalize? So for me, I'm really excited with 2024 because right now we have manias, we have short squeezes, we have stocks doubling, tripling, quadrupling, octupling within a few days. You don't need a big account. You don't need big positions. You just need to position yourself correctly, okay? I want everyone, I'm speaking right now, but after I'm done speaking, I'm going to go on Twitter. I'm going to look at what everyone's saying. I want you to tweet at me and say, I will be properly positioned, and then write at Timothy Sykes. And I'm going to hold you to it. That's why I like Twitter, because it's all time-stamped. And, for you, it's just a little tweet. But I take this as something serious, okay? How do you get properly positioned? Do you know which stocks to buy before the big spikes or before the bigger spikes later on? Do you know where to get the best news? Do you know which stocks are in play? Do you know which stocks to avoid? Do you know when chasing becomes a problem? Do you know when it's too risky? Do you know when a stock is moving too fast and frankly, there's not much good odds in your favor? The key to success in the stock market is not being right every time, okay? I was wrong this morning, I took a small loss. Jack Kellogg took a small loss, but Jack Kellogg is up over $1 million this year. I'm up roughly $250,000 this year. Not every trade is make or break. You shouldn't go all in. It's not like you have to be right 100% of the time. When I say tweet at me, say, I will be properly positioned, take that seriously, and then do everything you have to do to actually get properly positioned. That means studying. That means using the right broker. That means using the right tools. That means maximizing night times and weekends when your friends might be going out, when most people are pissed off at politics, while most people go to the movies or they, drink a lot to try to forget their sad life or the sad reality in which they find themselves. There's a lot of negativity out there. You can build whatever life you want. Anything you want can happen if you position yourself. So when I say study like your life depended on it, it does. Okay? I always say study hard. I always say I'm a glorified history teacher. But right now, you can learn in real time. We have a lot of different content that you can learn from the past. Previous years were amazing, but it's very cool and very useful for you, especially going forward, to learn in real time. So we can pull up charts right now? How do we switch to charts? How do I see what they see?
We'll do it right now.
So I'm just looking at, a few charts right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. The software is like freaking out.
You can see it.
You can see it? So these are just a few stocks that I'm watching. GDC, and this is, mind you, this is a 5-day chart, okay? This stock has gone from 1 and it hit 12 this morning, and now it's down $5 a share off its highs in the 7s. This company, guess what they did? Can you guess what they did to spike from basically $1 to $12? They created a new TikTok account that's going to track AI developments, and they announced that they're going to have a new TikTok account. And now they have a new software this morning, when the stock was already up from the 1s to the 7s, on the back of their amazing TikTok account announcement that they're now going to have AI videos where, you can create videos easier. They're basically embracing the AI economy. Whether they fail, whether they succeed, it doesn't matter. The AI revolution is happening right now. We're building every single day the blocks for an AI future. Whether you want to hate on AI, whether you want to embrace it, it doesn't matter. It's happening, whether you like it or not. You can mean tweet about AI, you can fall in love with it. You don't matter, I don't matter. We are just spectators to the AI revolution. The reason why I say this is because this is an amazing time. 2023, we didn't have the building blocks. 2022, we certainly didn't have the building blocks. 2020 and 2021, there wasn't even anything going on with AI. But 2020 and 2021 was a crazy market for different reasons because of what was happening in the world. So this is what I want you to start to understand. Not every year is going to be filled with so many opportunities. I mean, this is just a 5-day chart of GDC, but this is a prime example of what's happening with these AI plays. Let me pull up APDN also. This one has gone up quite a bit. This is a 10-day chart, and it's gone from 50 cents and it hit $3.50 today, 7 times in 5 days. Very choppy, not easy, but this is a monkeypox play. We still have various diseases going around. Whether or not you believe in monkeypox, whether or not you have monkeypox, these plays are spiking. APDN is just one. There was another one, GOVX, which my top students and I were trading. I'm just giving example after example, just so that you can see the volatility. And when I said tweet at me, I want to be properly positioned. How do you think that you can be properly positioned for these kinds of crazy plays? What if, and I'm just saying what if, after enough study, after enough research, let's say you study past pandemics, you know, this isn't the first disease to go around. If you study my past video lessons, DVDs, webinars, if you use the tools at your disposal, if you use the community, and you say, hold on, these plays can really keep running. Let me position myself with, let's say, 1,000 shares and see what happens over the coming days. A lot of my students position themselves that way. Just 1,000 shares of GOVX at, let's say, you know, when the news was breaking out, when it happened, Stocks to Trade breaking news alerted it. Let's say you buy 1,000 shares at $4.50. It's a $4,500 bet. Nothing huge, but within a day, that grows to $12,000. Now, obviously, not every play is going to be this perfect. You know, Monkey Pox and any disease is unpredictable. But this is what could happen if you position yourself properly. 4,000 to 12,000. I've got dozens of students doing it every single day. Soon it'll be 100, but you have to study. You can't just put $4,500 on any stock. Most of the time it'll go nowhere, or the 4,500 will become 4,000. But small losses are okay. That's what I want to teach you. So many people say, hey, I want to make the big money, but it's scary, it's risky. Life is risky, okay? It's scary if you're unprepared. It's scary if you don't have savings. It's scarier if you don't have knowledge. I'd be infinitely more scared right now if I didn't have a nice financial footing. But I've been working hard for a quarter of a century doing this. Whether you're in year 1, year 2, year 3. Actually, raise your hands if you're in year 1 or year 2 of your financial journey. Like 3/4. Raise your hand if you're in your first 5 years. This is actually interesting. So I like doing this, right? Raise your hand if you're in your first 5 years of your financial journey, learning about stocks, learning about finance in the past 5 years. Almost everybody, okay? Some of you, you know, you've been around for a while, that's cool. But it starts now, okay? Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. You're stacking your knowledge gains. Remember these Monkey Pox plays. I'm sure there will be some other disease in the future, sadly. You know, whether it's cat pox or dog pox or bird pox or whatever name you want. History repeats for better or worse. So we have technological evolution with AI, crypto, chat GPT. We have diseases. We'll probably have a hot sector, whether it's China, whether it's biotech, whether it's Brazil. There's so many different trends, but the cool thing is, going back to what I said, if you do tweet at me, and I'm going to look at Twitter later, I'm going to see how many of you can follow this instruction. You might not think that it's important, but to me, I want to see who can follow instructions. Will you be properly positioned no matter what pops up? Okay? This will not be the last. And if you do study enough of my DVDs, video lessons, webinars, you'll see these charts in the past. This is just one. Let me pull up actually SERV. This was an interesting one over the past few weeks, because this one was fantastic. Right now, over 10 days is not doing much. Right now, it's kind of downtrending from 14 to 10 over 10 days. This is not the prime time to trade it. That's why you don't see me trading it. But over the past few months, it was very different. Look at this. This stock went from 2 up to 24. What do they do? Can I pull up? Wait till you see this. They create these little, I don't know, moving like wagons.
Once everything's perfectly organized.
Little moving wagons with AI, and they're pairing it with Uber Eats, and now Shake Shack. Let me just show you a little example. These little carts, this is what SERV makes. These little carts where theoretically they're going to deliver Uber Eats and now Shake Shack, and you're going to see these little carts delivering all over the world. I don't know how to protect them. Everyone always asks me, like, why wouldn't someone just like steal the food or knock them over? I don't know, you know. But this is another example of AI with technology, and this is just starting. This just got signed. They just signed the deal with Shake Shack the other day. The interesting thing is they announced the deal with Shake Shack. The stock didn't budge. It was already up from 2 to 24. So this is the thing with science and, news. It's not always just one-to-one. It's not like, oh, the company has good news, the stock should go up. Sometimes you have to plan ahead. And part of the reason why this stock went from 2 to 24, and I was buying this, mind you, in the 4s, okay? The funny thing is they signed a deal where NVIDIA and Uber invested. So this company has very little revenues. It's, potentially a product that everyone's going to use, but we don't know. There's not that many little carts running around yet. But the fact that Uber and NVIDIA see potential in this, two giant companies, two of the biggest companies in the world, that says this has opportunity. So again, going back to what I said, are you properly positioned? Dozens of my top students made 5,000, 10,000. Some of my students even made 300,000. Jack Kellogg, shout out to him. He had momentum. He had confidence. He made over $300,000 in one trading day, overnight on SERV. Matt Monaco, is Matt speaking or is Bryce? Bryce is Matt's roommate. Sometimes Matt speaks, sometimes Bryce speaks. But the cool thing is they were roommates in college. Now they're both millionaires. Matt Monaco made $50,000 on SERV. Me, how much did I make? If you add up all my trades, probably like $20,000, $30,000. I trade safe. I take smaller positions. I'm in and out. I have the patience of an ant. So I am not best case scenario. You say, oh, wow, look, Tim, you turned 12,000 into 7.7 million. There's probably been 700 million, maybe even $1 billion that I could have made with the trades that I've done. But I almost always sell too soon. That's me. What you're going to do in your financial journey is you're going to learn what works best for you. I trade like a complete coward, and I'm very proud of that. Some people say trading stocks is risky, it's scary. I say trade scared and trading isn't scary. But I've still made several $1 million, right? That's given me a very good life. But the opportunity is now in this market, with this technology, with this community. And we're trying to position you so that you can maximize the opportunity. No matter what disease comes up, no matter what technology comes up, 2020 was crazy, okay? I now have 40 plus millionaire students. The majority of them were created in 2020 and 2021. But what most people don't realize, people say, oh, I wish I was trading back in 2020, 21. A lot of people started in 2020, 2021. They didn't become millionaires, and even some who did, but they didn't learn properly, they lost the money in 2022 and 2023. So it's not enough just to learn how to make money. You have to learn how to make the money and keep the money, which goes back to being properly prepared. There's a saying, a fool and his money are soon parted. So if you just gamble, if you just hodl like a lot of people like to do, you might get lucky, but more than likely you will lose most, if not all of the money that you've made. The best way to go about this is to prepare, to focus on studying, to focus on getting self-sufficient. Whether or not you make millions right away, whether or not you make anything right away. Jack might have made $300,000 plus on SERV in one trading day. He might be over $1 million this year. He might be over 13 million now in less than a decade. But his first few months, he didn't make much while he was learning. Tim Grattani recently came back to the community. Welcome him back if you're in the challenge chat. He just gave a great webinar the other day. He made $100,000 live during the webinar. He's now over 16 million. He started as a State Farm insurance agent with me, okay? He had $1,500 to his name. In the beginning, he's plus and minus $20, $30, $50. He didn't make much, he didn't lose much, but he was learning and he stuck with it. And that's what I want from you, okay? I bring up these big examples, these inspirational stories, because they started out in a seat just like where you are now. They used to watch webinars like this. They knew nothing in the beginning. They had small accounts in the beginning too. The future is amazing if you invest time and money into your education and you prioritize that, okay? Jack Kellogg previously was a firefighter. He was previously selling pillows at a Connecticut mall. No joke, bamboo pillows. Failed small businessman, but he got into trading and he stuck with it. And then he scaled up. So it's a process. Many of you just starting. Don't feel bad if you make a little, if you lose a little, if you're too scared to trade. Like I said, we all start somewhere. But the key is starting and getting on the right track and then staying on that right track. Maybe you don't become a millionaire in 2024, but you plant the seeds, right? You're starting to learn, you're starting to see these patterns, you're starting to recognize that there will be new technologies, new hot sectors, more patterns, more diseases, more opportunity. You plant the seeds, maybe by 2025, you still don't know as much as you need to really bet big like you should. You shouldn't bet big if you don't know that much, but maybe by 2026 or even 2027. That's the mindset that you need. 2027 isn't that far away. It's 2.5 years away. But most people are like, what are you talking about? 2027? What about right now? Everybody wants it right now. We live in a society where, everyone wants fast, fast, fast. In trading, that is wrong. I want you to think about this as a marathon and not a sprint. And you learn from my millionaire students who have done it over 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. The new millionaires in 2020 and 2021, there were two types. Those who made it too fast in a lucky way by hodling. The dumbest people I know just held and they found themselves very wealthy because everything went up so much. But they also overheld, they stuck around too long, and then they lost it. The other group of millionaires, my students, they didn't start in 2020, 2021. Many of my newest millionaire students, like Jack Kellogg, Mariana, Matt Monaco, Kyle Williams, a lot of them started in 2016, 2017. They had the perspective of a slower market, 2018, 2019, so they were prepared for 2020. So over the next 2 days, I want you to learn, but I also want you to have perspective that this is just the beginning, okay? How can you maximize the rest of 2024 and 2025? How can you utilize all the tools that we have? But the good news is you have more tools, more opportunity than ever. And now with 40 plus examples of millionaires, it's not like it's just me anymore. When I first got started teaching and people were like, oh, you're going to create millionaires from scratch. And I was like, yeah, I knew I wasn't best case scenario. You look from the outside and you're like, wow, Tim, 12,000 into 7.7 million. You must be right every time. You must be nailing it. I'm not right every time, and I'm not nailing it. SCRV, I literally was buying it in the 4s and selling it in the 5s. I was buying it in the 6s, selling it in the 7s. I think my last buy might have been like 8, and I flipped it at like 10, max. Actually, I bought it a little bit into the bounce after the big run up to 24. Then I think I bought it at like 14 or 15 and flipped it at like 16 or 17. I'm not best case scenario, but I found patterns that work for me, my personality, and my schedule. I'm traveling all over the world. It's pretty cool to be able to travel and trade. I love my life, but I want you to live whatever life you want. And unfortunately, I get too many messages from people sad because they're working at a job they hate, they don't have savings, they're in debt. You don't have a choice to live the life that you want because you're too busy dealing with real life, dealing with real world problems. The beautiful thing is if you study, if you do become a master at these techniques, and we have more content than ever, more curated content than ever, which is an amazing new feature thanks to my amazing team. But you can then set yourself up for whatever life you want, 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030, 2031, 2032, 2033, 2034, 2035. What kind of life do you want in 2035? 11 years from now. Okay? Can you even picture that far in advance? You should. Because if you study, if you utilize the opportunity, if you maximize and capitalize, you can really build something amazing. Jack Kellogg might be over 13 million now. A decade ago, he had not a dime to his name, and he was depressed, struggling. Grittani was a little more than a decade ago. 40 plus other millionaire students, most of them started studying 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. So over the next 2 days, you're going to learn a lot. You might be frustrated, you might be confused. It's okay. It's always toughest at the beginning, but I want you to stick with it. And I want you to keep going because it's amazing what you can do when you prioritize your education and your self-sufficiency. The money comes, the success comes, the confidence comes. If you stick with it, it does not happen overnight. So those were some lessons that I've learned from my own trading and now from teaching and now creating 40 plus millionaire students. I don't mention, the 40 plus millionaire students and my $7.7 million in trading profits to brag. I want to show you that I have credentials, okay? I don't think anybody else teaching has this many millionaire students. I know most people teaching have never made this much trading. Most teachers are those that can't do. I might not be the best trader, but I do trade safely, conservatively, and I think that approach really helps newbies As proven, by my upcoming students, you can always get more aggressive later on. But I want to teach you my rules. I want to teach you perspective. I want to teach you stock market history, and hopefully I can help you. Leave a comment below if this video helped you. Let me know if you have other questions. Click the link below if you want to get into my challenge, if you want to hear me berate newbies and teach degenerate gamblers discipline, or at least try to. I'm always here to help. Remember, I never had a mentor or teacher, so I'm always trying to be the mentor to you that I never had. I don't necessarily tell you what you want to hear, but I tell you what you need to hear. And I want you to be successful, so keep studying. Leave a comment below. Let me know how bad you want it.